What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Microchurch Sunday at North City Church. We're so glad that you joined us. If you're watching this online, welcome. If you're watching this with the rest of your Microchurch, what's up, everybody? We're so excited that you've joined us today, that you've joined the discussion if you're a part of a Microchurch. If you're like, Microchurch, what in the heck is a Microchurch, dude? We would love to tell you. We'd love to tell you more about microchurches and who we are as North City Church and what we're about and how we're trying to love our neighbors in the way of Jesus. There is a number that's going to be on the screen right here and down in the description below that you can text hello to, and we can start a conversation if you fill out some information about who we are, who you are. If you're interested in joining a community that's loving its neighbors in the way of Jesus in really unique ways, we would love to talk with you. Microchurch leaders and microchurch participants, I have a few announcements to share with you today, let you know what's going on, and then we're going to have some worship. Misty Harper Anderson is going to bring a little message for us that sets you up for discussion. So buckle up, here we go. My announcements are mostly about Easter. Easter is coming up and coming up quick. So this is really important. We have a change in information here. I want to first talk about a candy grab or egg hunt that we're doing. Initially, we had told you that that was going to be the Saturday before Easter. Well, we have an exciting opportunity to partner with more community organizations the week before. So the Easter egg hunt is going to be a little bit different, but there's still ways to be involved and still ways to participate. It's going to be Saturday, March 27th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Victory Park. And what's cool about this is we get to partner not only with our friends at Corner Coffee and Corner Church, but we get to partner with Dancing Bear Chocolate, which is just right across the street, and a couple other really cool community organizations. And this is North City showing up and saying, hey, this is something that God's doing in the community already. We're just here to serve and to help. So if you're a family that wants to come, or if you want to just come and check out what's going on, 11 a.m. through 2 p.m. There's going to be lots of eggs everywhere, plenty to find, and it's kind of going to be more socially distanced, more at your own pace. But here, I got something to ask you if you could help us out with this. This is a great way to get involved in how we're loving our community, and is to 3 ways you can help out. 1, we need candy to put in these eggs. So if you want to give a donation of candy, make sure it's small enough to fit in an Easter egg and in a self-packaged candy, and you can drop that off at Corner Coffee Camden so that we can pack eggs. That's the second thing where we really need your help. If you're willing to come, there's going to be an egg packing event Friday, the 26th of March, at 2:30 p.m. at Corner Coffee. So if you would like to come, please contact Alana, our family life coordinator, who's helping coordinate this as well, and let her know that you're going to come to that and help us pack the eggs for Saturday, which is the last place that you could help. We're going to have a team come and help set up, help hide the eggs at 10 a.m. on March 27th, that Saturday. So we're so excited for that candy grab. That's all coming up this next week. So please pay attention to that. Let us know if you can help in any way. On to Holy Week. So exciting. We have great partners in Brookdale Covenant Church, not only the space that we gather for worship gatherings, but a partner in our mission. And we get to partner with them for Good Friday to have this experience. And this is going to be an experience where we need sometimes moments of transition, moments of reflection. It's been a year and a half, and it's been a lot of emotions, a lot of things on our chest, and we are trying really hard to create a space where you can worshipfully and prayerfully just have a connection with God and the other people who are there to express the hardships of this year, but also express this hope and trust in the Easter story and who Jesus is. So that experience will be in person and online at 7 p.m. In person at Brookdale in a socially distanced gathering, and then online at our Facebook page and YouTube channel if you want to watch. Then, of course, Easter. We're so excited for this. The theme is New Life is here. We're going to be talking about the resurrection truth of Jesus, and we would love for you, if you'd like to join us in person for a safe, socially distanced gathering. Invite a friend. We have little invite cards if you want to pick them up, and you can give to a friend or just shoot them a text. We have a Facebook page if you want to invite them that way, or if you want to invite a friend to watch with you online. That service will also be online 6 p.m. as we always do for our Easter service. So some exciting things coming up. Thanks for joining us. We're going to worship now. So wherever you're watching, whoever you're watching with, just take a moment, take a couple deep breaths to center yourself and give yourself these next few minutes to worship in this way. And then Misty is going to lead us in our reflection.
I sing praises to your name, praises to your name, the name that's so much higher than all names. Honor to your name, honor to your name, the name that's so much greater than all names. I sing praises to your name, praises to your name, the name that's so much higher than all names. Honor to your name, honor to your name, the name that's so much greater than all names. Be lifted up, be lifted higher, be lifted up, be lifted higher. I sing praises to your name, praises to your name, the name that's so much higher than all names. And all honor to your name, honor to your name, the name that's so much greater than all names. Be lifted up,
welcome to North City. We're so glad that you were here, that you joined us for this. My name is Misty Harper Anderson. I am the church planter in residence at North City, and I am the planting pastor at Aspen Covenant in Eagan. And like I said, we're so glad you're here. So whether you are joining us as part of one of our existing North City communities, or you've just found us online and this is your first time here, welcome. And Pastor JD mentioned in the beginning that we have a text to number where you can text hello, and that is your way to let us know who you are. Would you do that, please? Would you let us know who you are? And that also gives us an opportunity to share a little bit about who we are and what we're doing as part of this community. Okay, so let me ask you a question. When you think of royalty or royals, what comes to mind? Now, given the recent headlines, specifically here in the US even, it might be the British royals, right? They've been in the news a lot lately. When I was little, Diana Spencer was just becoming Diana, Princess of Wales, and I was infatuated with her. More so probably the glamorous life that was being portrayed in the news, again, at that time. And I just loved everything about her, right? And I thought it would be so cool to be a princess. And I think most young people learn about princesses, about royalty from Disney stories. Don't you think that's true? So let's take Cinderella, for instance. What do we learn from Cinderella? So here you have this girl who is basically imprisoned, enslaved in her own home by her stepmom, her evil stepmom. And as a side note, as someone who is a stepmom, I think we get a really bad rap because of her. Okay. So here we have Cinderella. She's on her knees. She's scrubbing the floor. She's washing their laundry. She's doing all of the household chores. The only friends she has are mice. And then she meets Prince Charming. And she, too, becomes royalty. And she leaves all of those menial tasks behind. And so that's what we learn from that story, or part of what we learn from that story, is that when you become a person of title and prestige, you get to leave the day-to-day chores and the menial things behind. Well, let's look at this from the Jesus perspective. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. He turns that story upside down. Jesus teaches us to love the lowly position. Now, before we read our text for today, the text that we will dwell on, I want to set us up just a little bit for it. So next week in the church world, most churches in the Christian realm will celebrate Palm Sunday, and this is the celebration of Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. So the story that we are reading today actually happens after that. This story is what's celebrated in the church world as Maundy Thursday, the foot washing. And so as we think through this story today, I want us to keep in mind what must have been going through the mind of Jesus as he was sharing this time with his disciples, because he knew that the cross was before him and he knew that it was coming soon, and yet he was using this time with his people. So if you're up for it, I would love for you to imagine yourself in this place. What are you seeing? What are you feeling? What are you smelling? They're going to share this meal together. So there's food in this room. So whether you can imagine yourself as one of the disciples or just a bystander taking it all in, I'd love for you to give that a try. So now, if you have Bibles handy, let's turn to John 13. I'm going to read in the NIV, and it's John 13, 1 through 17. And especially because this is a longer passage, I'd love for you to have it available for you to take in with us right now, and then for you to reflect on when we're done here. Verse 1, it was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he'd come from God and was returning to God. So, knowing who he was, he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I'm doing, but later you will understand." "No," said Peter, "you shall never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no part with me." "Then, Lord," Simon Peter replied, "not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well." Jesus answered, "Those who have had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean, and you are clean, though not every one of you." For he knew who was going to betray him, and that was why he said not everyone was clean. When he'd finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. Jesus says, "Do you understand what I have done for you?" he asked them. "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly, I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them." You will be blessed if you do them. It is very clear in this command. No parables, no other methods of speech, just clarity. About 10 years ago, my youngest brother, Nicholas, was in an oil rig accident in western North Dakota. It was just horrifying. He broke his arm, ribs, both of his legs. His right leg was badly broken. His left leg was shattered. It was just awful, really. He spent a couple of days in the hospital in Bismarck and then was flown to HCMC. And because I live in the Twin Cities, I had this gift of spending a great deal of time with him, not only for the month that he was in the hospital, but also when he would return for follow-up visits. The month that he was in the hospital, his wounds needed surgery twice a week for a month. Now, a month or so after he was out of the hospital, he had returned for a follow-up visit. And in the time, so maybe for 2 months, his feet and legs had been in plaster casts. And at this doctor visit, they took them off and said, "Yep, you don't need those anymore. You can now wear removable boots, get a little bit of air to your skin." Well, if you've ever had a plaster cast, you know that skin gets very dry. So when they took those casts off, his feet were dry and itchy and calloused. And like I said, he's staying with me because he's in town for this appointment. And I knew what I had to do. Now, something to know about me is I love baby feet, right? Like they're cute, they're little, they're kissable. But I don't like grown-up feet even a little bit. And grown-up feet that are calloused, that had been casted for a couple of months, just no. But he was really uncomfortable, and I love him a lot. So I got some pedicure supplies, and there was this comical moment in which my 5'10" husband helped my 6'4" non-weight-bearing brother up the stairs to our bathroom, and somehow we safely got him there. And he sat on the edge of the tub, and I sat at his feet below him, and I gave him a pedicure. And I will say that act itself was maybe not the most pleasant experience, but the blessing was in the time that we had together. The tears that we cried together, the laughter that we shared. Because Jesus says that we will be blessed when we do these things. And that was the blessing in all of this, to be able to bring some comfort to this person that I love. And yet, that's not the whole of what Jesus tells us here. And we see that in what is shared in this story. Jesus is showing this kind of love to people who we would know as our enemies, right? So some of the things that I noticed are this, and I wonder if you're thinking some of the same things. As I mentioned, Jesus knows what lies ahead of him, and he sets that all aside to teach and to love these people that have been with him for the past 3 years. And two of those people, one of them is Judas Iscariot, and another one is Peter, both mentioned in this story. And on one hand, you have Judas, who Jesus knows in just a matter of hours is literally going to sell him out to the Jewish leaders. And then on the other hand, you have Peter, who, okay, I love Peter, right? He is so zealous. He wants to do everything to please Jesus. Like, he wants to be at this point and then go all the extra mile to please Jesus. And I can imagine he might have been a little challenging to lead. And at the same time, in just a matter of hours, Peter is going to deny Jesus 3 times. So Judas, on this one hand, is selling out Jesus, but never repents of that. As a matter of fact, he takes his life because the shame and the guilt is too much for him. And on the other hand, you have Peter, who will in time come to Jesus with a repentant and sorrowful heart. And Jesus washed both of their feet. All 12 disciples, he washed their feet. It wasn't based on who they were or what they did. He served them from this lowly position. And in order to wash their feet, Jesus took off his outer garment, which was an act that would have been despised by Jew and Greek alike. He would have put himself below them, which also would have been despised by Jew and Greek alike, because he was putting himself in the place of a servant, right? Again, loving them through this lowly position. And we see this foreshadowing to the cross that we will remember on Good Friday. On the cross, Jesus is stripped of his clothing, again, in all humility, loving us through his lowly position. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. So as we go into this time of dwelling, whether we are with our communities or by ourselves and having some time of reflection, we focus on these 3 questions. What sticks out to you? What questions might you have? How might the Holy Spirit be asking you to respond or asking us to respond as the church? I also wonder if in these final 2 weeks of Lent, is there a way to serve your neighbor in the way of Jesus, to love your neighbors through this lowly position? Now, this certainly isn't limited to the time of Lent, but it is a good place to start. How might we love the lowly position? Again, thank you for joining us. I hope that you will enjoy, just find such growth through this time of reflection and discussion.